question which comes a lot nowadays is we need to, or a statement which people make nowadays is we need to obey the Muslim ruler. However, which Muslim ruler are we supposed to obey since we have so many?
Well, first of all, you have to identify who is the Muslim ruler. Yeah. So the Muslim ruler has criteria. And the main criteria of a Muslim ruler, that he rules by the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. And those who rule by the rule other than what Allah has descended down, these are the kuffar. Yeah? إِنَّ الْحُكْمُ إِلَّا لِلَّهِ. And the ruling is only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, now, if we have a Muslim ruler that falls within this criteria, then yes, he has to be obeyed. Yeah? And in Islam, we cannot have two rulers. We can only have one Khalif. You cannot have two. It's not allowed. Yeah? So, now, who do we classify as a Muslim ruler today? Which ruler on this earth follows the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, does not mix it with any other Sharia? Which Muslim ruler has the full wala and bara and non-alliance to the kuffar? Which Muslim ruler has that? Which Muslim ruler falls under this criteria? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells you the criteria. That the rule is to Allah. So if we have one today, let's follow him. And you need to show him to me because I'll follow him. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, when the Khalifa comes, you go to him even if you have to crawl on ice. Even if you have to crawl on ice, you go to the Khalifa because you have to obey him and you have to follow him. You have to be part of the Jama'ah. Now today, there isn't a single ruler, yeah, that follows the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we cannot even classify them as Muslim rulers. They're kuffar because they follow man-made law. In Egypt, they mix some ayahs with French law. Yeah, it's man-made law. Now, this is on the law level. Now, on the suffering and destruction level and the war crimes, yeah, these rulers, what are they doing to the Muslims? They are helping the kuffar kill the Muslims. They are themselves killing the Muslims better than the kuffar. They are imprisoning and torturing the Muslims. So how can you say this is your Muslim ruler? Yeah? And some people come out with La khuruj al hakim. You cannot go against the ruler. Of course you can go against the ruler. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, if the ruler does not follow the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have to speak out. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, when he was Khalifa, he says, I think it was Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he says, إذا رأيتموني على حق فأعينوني. If you see me on the truth, help me. وإذا رأيتموني على باطل قوموني. And if you see me on falsehood, then straighten me out. Who's talking? This is Abu Bakr, Khalifa of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when somebody says to me, oh, you can't go against the ruler, this is a load of nonsense. A load of nonsense. What? You're higher than Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu? You're higher than the Khalifa of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? You're higher than the man that enters Jannah after. He's the first man to enter Jannah after the prophets. Are you higher than this man? No, you're not. And this is what he tells you. Now we come to the issue of, and there's an example of Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu. Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, he walked into a masjid. And he was, this is not even on the ruler level. This is just on the salah level. But just to give you an example on something lower. Because obviously obeying the Khalif is higher than the salah issue itself. Abdullah Abbas walks into the masjid and they prayed the salah wrong. There was something wrong they did in the salah. So what does Abdullah ibn Abbas, and remember, Abdullah ibn Abbas is Habr al-Ummah. He's the one that Rasulullah made dua for him. يُفَقِّهُ فِي الدِّينِ يُفَقِّهُ فِي القرآن. So he knows the ta'weel of the Quran, Abdullah ibn Abbas, the inner hidden meanings of the Quran. And Rasulullah made dua for him for that. So he prayed the salah on his own. So after the people finished the salah, he says, what have you done, Abdullah ibn Abbas? You left the jama'ah. You left the jama'ah, you left the salah in jama'ah, and you prayed on your own. He said to them, Ana al-jama'ah. Ana al-jama'ah. I am the jama'ah. Because they prayed wrong and he prayed correctly. One man became the jama'ah. Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. Yeah. What does Rasulullah say in the hadith? What does Allah say about him? Inna Ibrahim kana ummatan linnas. Ibrahim was a nation to the people. One man was a nation. One man, Ibrahim was a nation. He was a nation of his own. And even that man, Ibrahim, he said, I would hope to be one of the believers in Muhammad Sallallahu ummah. So one man can be the jama'ah. One man can be the ummah. If you disobey Allah, if you commit shirk, you can disobey Allah and you're a believer and you're a Muslim. But if you commit shirk or kufr, or your allegiance is in the wrong place, you're no longer a Muslim. You are no longer a Muslim. You're either a mushrik, a kafir, or a murtad. Yeah? And if the rulers fall into this category, how can we obey such person? How can you obey a munafiq? How can you obey a munafiq that kills your brothers and sisters and rapes the women in prisons? How can you obey such ruler? And under what pretext do you say that we have to obey this ruler? Because what? Because he has a Muslim name? Because he's an Arab? What is it? What is the reason? You cannot obey him because these people are kafirs. This is the bottom line. They are kafirs and they are not to be obeyed. And you're under an illusion. You're under what? The ruling in fiqh, the ruling in Islam is لا طاعة لمخلوق في معصية الخالق. There is no obedience to a creation of Allah when it comes to the disobedience of Allah. I gave you the example of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, what he said. When he was Khalifa, when he was ruler, the Khalifa of Rasulullah sallam, he said, if you see me on truth, guide me, help me. If you see me on batil and falsehood, straighten me out. Abu Bakr, the conqueror, straighten me out, he said. So, the rulers of today that you so-called Muslims, you don't want to straighten that and you say, if you go against the ruler, is it against Islam? This is a lot of nonsense. A lot of nonsense. There is no ruler to be followed today. At the moment in time, there is no ruler until the Khalifa comes. When the Khalifa comes to unite the Ummah, then you follow him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ فَرَّقُوا دِينَهُمْ وَكَانُوا شِيَعًا لَسْتَ مِنْهُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ. That those who divided themselves into groups, you are not from amongst them. All these groups we have today, Hizb this, Hizb that, this one, that one. There's so many, you can't even name them. And this is what Rasulullah in the hadith said, my ummah will be 70 odd sects. They're all in the hell of fire, except one. Yeah, why? Because they're causing disunity in Islam. The whole situation in Islam is about unity. Unity. لو أنفقت ما في الأرض جميعا ما ألفت بين قلوبهم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala united the hearts of the Sahabas from different countries, from different tongues. And He united them. And He said, you wouldn't, if you spend everything on earth, you wouldn't have united these hearts. The whole thing is about unity. When people don't understand the salah, the whole idea of you standing in the salah is unity in one row or two rows, whatever it is. Yeah, from all these people, different colors, different backgrounds, different foods they like to eat, different languages, is the unity. Now, if we have all these different groups, where's the unity? How are you going to hold steadfast to the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? There is no Muslim ruler today. There is no ruler to be obeyed today who says he's a Muslim. He's not. Bashar al-Assad, he prays in the masjid. He says he's Muslim. He's Alawi, he's kafir. Yeah? He's helping, Hezbollah, the Shia are helping him to kill the Sunnis. You're going to say, you're going to obey him? You're going to say, Gaddafi, that killed all the Muslims and tortured them, he's a Muslim? Already, the scholars, even in Saudi Arabia, they declared takfir on Gaddafi before he died because of the stuff that he was saying and doing. So, all these rulers, are you going to say they're Muslim and you follow them? And what are you going to follow them into? That's what Fir'aun did. فَاسْتَخَفَّ قَوْمَهُ فَأَطَاعُوهُ. He said to them, I'm Lord, and they followed him. So are you want to follow these rulers? Follow them. Go ahead. It's your problem. But what's going to happen? You're going to walk on the sirat. You won't even make one step foot on the sirat. The hook of Jahannam will come and grab you from your forehead and take you to the hell of fire. You follow the ones you love. You follow your so-called Muslim rulers, those kafirs. And see where you'll end up being. You'll end up in the hell of fire burning all your life. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.